What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So we've got a bunch of pens here in front of us, and on this channel lately we've been hanging out with a bunch of cool pens. We've been talking about some Memento Zero, Leonardo's, we've been talking about some, I don't know, all kinds of fun stuff. But I wanted to focus on some pens that were not necessarily beginner pens, but not necessarily expensive either. Like something that gives you a good writing experience for a more reasonable amount of money. And so I've compiled a pile of pens here. If you look at them, you can probably pick out a few that you recognize and maybe some that you don't. I actually ordered some special for this video that I had no experience with, that I wanted to try just for the purpose of seeing what's out there. Now there's going to be some very familiar, when we think of budget pens, we think of things like the Kaweco Sport, right? We think of things like the Lamy Safari. We think of things like the TWSBI Eco. This is the new one that's that marbly green that's so cool. So yeah, we'll leave links to all these in the description below. But let's go through each of these and I'll show you what I think is cool about them and, you know, why I think each of them deserves a conversation when you're thinking about a new pen. So first on our list, we could look at the Lamy Safari. This is my very first fountain pen, kind of brand name fountain pen that I bought. And to this day, no matter which other kind of fancy stuff I have added to my collection over time, I still use this almost every day. And it lives in one of my backpacks, and it is a great writing experience. I like the medium nib, that's my favorite personally. It's still pretty smooth and it works really well. Lamy Safari, under 50 bucks, I think. I think these are about $35. You're gonna have to pardon the loud dogs. It's just my life right now. Next on the list, I actually stole this from Leslie. This is, of course, a Kaweco Sport. And you know, this is a pretty familiar one that I think this is a medium nib as well. This is a pretty familiar pen, right? Pocket pen, cartridge inside. You can also eyedrop them. They get super small. You can throw them in your pocket. Super cool. They come in aluminum. Those ones aren't under $50 or $75, but these ones are, and they come in a million different colors, right? And a million different nib combinations, and yeah, pretty stinking cool. And of course, we got to talk about a TWSBI Eco. This is a new model that just came out. And I think it's the first one that I can remember anyway, that's got like a marbly pattern to it, which is pretty cool. This is Brianna's pen. So this is a TWSBI Eco, and this is actually in an extra fine because Brianna draws, and so she likes to have an extra fine for some of that extra fine action. So there you go. And of course, this is a piston filler, so once you get into this kind of pen, you can put whatever ink you want in it, and you can really start having some fun. And of course, these come in a million different colors and a million different nib size. Well, small, I apologize, small, extra fine, fine, medium, broad, and 1.1 stub. And so these are pretty stinking cool pens as well. Again, pretty normal. When we think of an under $75 or an under $50 pen, it's pretty common, right? When we do these kind of more under $50 budgety pen videos, this is a pen that I forget to talk about. This is called the Diplomat Magnum, and this was actually Leslie's first kind of real fountain pen. These are very reasonably priced. They have a number, I think this is a number 5 nib in it. And the thing about the Diplomat Magnum is it has this bounciness to the nib that you may not expect. So when we think of like a gold nib pen, for example, you can get like a lot of line variation, but not typically on a steel nib. See there? This is an extremely bouncy steel nib. It's super fun. And so I like to recommend this pen to folks who are, you know, just getting into the hobby and like to, and they, you know, they might want to feel what a fountain pen can really feel like. It's super fun for a very reasonable amount of money. Now, here's the thing about this. Of course, this pen kind of feels plasticky and stuff, but it writes better than it feels. So definitely grab one of these, at least have it in your collection. So now we're gonna get a little bit out of the norm here. This is a SCHAER VFM. This pen is actually still under $50 as far as I'm aware. And of course, it comes in a beautiful box. It's got this brown, chocolate, bronzy hardware. And here's where we start to get into, you know, those other pens are plastic pens, right? But this is where you get into kind of, I don't want to say fancy pen territory, but it feels like a really nice pen, right? It's not expensive, but it feels like a really nice pen. And so we have the, I think it's SCHAER, I'm pretty sure, VFM. This is a medium nib also. And this thing writes really nice. Now, it's very smooth. It's got a really nice looking nib, right? It's the build quality of the pen is very good. It is a cartridge converter pen, although I think we have, oh yeah, there's a converter in there. This is Leslie's pen actually. And kind of rose goldy brown hardware. And see, now you're into like quote unquote nice pen territory, where you have some character to it. It's not just a plastic pen. It feels very good. It writes very good. Is it going to be super bouncy and flexy and super, you know, amazing high-end nib? No, but it is smooth. It is smooth like a fountain pen is expected to be. And I really, really like this pen a lot. There's another version of this that's a little bit over $50, I think. I can't remember what it's called, maybe the 100. That's also this coffee theme. And this is a really neat pen. We just got this. Actually, I just bought this bought this pen for this video. And we'll also leave a link to all this stuff in the description. When you use that link, you can get 10% off anything you order here. So that does help out the channel. So anyway, there you go. Let's keep on going here with some of this stuff. Now, this is another pen that you're probably familiar with. This is going to be not an expensive pen, but also it's going to be a little bit of a step up. So basically, so this is a Lamy All-Star. And this is basically, I think this is a medium nib as well. This is basically just, for lack of a better word, an aluminum safari. So this is probably something that you have seen, something that you're familiar with, but they come in a bunch of different colors and they do class it up just a little bit. They feel nice. The diameter is a little bit bigger because of the way they have to bend the metal to make these pens. Of course, it's a cartridge converter with that Lamy Z28 converter inside. And I think this is a special edition one that we just got recently. Yeah, super cool. Again, this is one of Leslie's pens. So I guess I forgot to include this in the more familiar less than $50, less than $75 pen section, but that's another one. This is another pen. I don't currently have this inked up. I should have probably inked it up for this video. This is a Narwhal, and this one is the original plus, I think. And this is an interesting pen because, yes, it is a plastic sort of acrylic resin, right? However, this kind of steps you up next level for a couple of reasons. It's not expensive. It's got all these anodized parts. Even look at this nib. Isn't that cool? That's really why I bought it. I bought this for Leslie. And this gets us into a different quote-unquote operating system. So basically the way this one works, it's a vacuum filler. So you pull back on this piston, you put it into the ink bottle, and when you press down, it builds up a vacuum behind the piston. And when you get right there, it sucks ink up into the pen. So this kind of gets you into vacuum filler territory for not a lot of money. And this nib writes really, really well. This is a really neat pen. I don't currently have it inked up because we've got a bunch of pens inked up right now. But I mean, look at the kind of the details to it. It's super cool. So the Narwhal Original Plus, and they've got a bunch of pens that are really reasonably priced that kind of step you, quote unquote, up to that next level, if you will. And I really, really dig these a lot. Super cool. I'll give you a couple of more common ones, although this one is a little less common. You don't see it very often, or not as often. This is going to be your TWSBI, I don't remember if they call this the 580 Mini, but I call it the TWSBI Mini, right? So this one, it's got some shimmer in there, so let's give this a little roll. But this is neat. This is a TWSBI with a screw to post, and the nicer kind of quality parts. So you've got the aluminum, you've got all these aluminum parts. It just feels really nice. So this is a TWSBI, I think this is a mini ALR, I don't remember exactly. Under 75 bucks. Kind of next level up from your other TWSBIs, like your Eco, right? This is actually a 1.1 millimeter stub because Leslie loves stubs, and this is one of her pens. It's very cool. It writes really well. The thing about TWSBIs is interesting. Their nibs are a little stiff, but they are very, very good. They're smooth. They're consistent. Every TWSBI I've ever had writes awesome. You don't have to worry about them. People in the past have talked about them cracking and stuff. I think they've got a pretty good handle on that now. We've got tons of TWSBIs around here. I've never cracked one. Yeah, and that's a super cool pen, and I think these are right around 60 bucks, something like that. Kind of the cousin to that is going to be the TWSBI Diamond 580. So this is also one of Leslie's pens, and so this one is kind of the full-size version of the one you just saw, minus the aluminum. TWSBI Diamond 580, and this one is in, this is a 1.1 stub. Whew, that is some wet ink she's got in there. Holy smokes. But man, is that fun, right? That's a super fun pen. I don't know what ink that is. That's really cool. I just stole some of these from Leslie for this video. But this is your white and rose gold colorway. So that's pretty cool. And again, it's a TWSBI, right? So if we go back to more of our budget side, we've got the Eco, but this kind of classes it up. We've got this non-see-through, this opaque plastic on the piston knob as well as on the cap, and also on the section. And we've got this rose gold hardware, so it kind of really classes it up. And this is a super cool pen, man. Super cool pen. Diamond 580 rose gold. Yeah, I dig that a lot. Now let's get into some kind of new stuff and maybe some less common stuff. This is a cool pen. I think I featured this in my currently inked video the other day because I have this inked up in my collection right now. This is the Verde Dakota. Now Verde has a bunch of pens that are in a price range that you can afford. The Ritma is also relatively inexpensive. The Innova Formula M, we have one of those in the collection as well. And those are also very cool. They're metal pens. They have really good quality nibs. And what you'll find with them is, now this one, so this is a Verde, what is this thing called? Dakota. And this one is in this is a medium nib as well. The thing about this is actually, this is a number 5 Yovo nib. So this is a little bit smaller, but some of their other pens have number 6s in them. And so you can get kind of that longer nib experience, which is pretty cool. And I really, really like this pen a lot. And what's neat about it is it kind of gives you Pilot E95S vibes. So it's got that full-size feel, big, long post, and then a long slip cap experience that gives you this sort of mini sort of travel pen. But it's metal, it's got a nice clip, it's got a nice nib, it writes well. So you have this whole experience of having a nice pen that's not super expensive that you can travel with. So again, under 75 bucks. I can't remember how much these things cost, maybe 65 something. I don't remember. But like I said, there'll be prices on all this stuff. But yeah, what an excellent pen. Now this is a Parker. So this is a Parker IM. And this is an interesting pen because we think of Parker, you know, we think of the Parker Jotter. And the thing about this pen is it's beautiful. The color is beautiful. It's got that familiar Parker Arrow clip. It's got a gold colored nib. Of course, it's a steel nib. This is the Parker IM. And this is a medium nib as well. I got all these in mediums so that we can kind of see the comparison. This is a very, very smooth nib. I will tell you this nib is pretty stiff. You know, it reflects the cost of the pen, but it's very smooth. It writes very, very well. And it's just a nice pen. Again, what I wanted to find here was stuff that I was not personally familiar with. Oh man, that's nice too. The way that, man, that's really nice. I just wanted to find some stuff that was reasonably priced that gave you the real fountain pen, not plastic fountain pen, feel if you're just getting into the hobby and you don't want to commit, you know, to some $200 pen, right? It just makes sense to spend some time looking at some of these really cool, but really reasonably priced stuff. Man, I like this thing. Now, this is an interesting brand in general. This is Kandosh. They have a very unique style to all of their pens. Their ballpoints, their roller balls, their fountain pens. Super unique style. I think they're Swedish or Swiss. Maybe it's Swiss. Very, very interesting. This is Brianna's pen. Of course, she likes green, so that's why it's in this crazy, obnoxious green. When we pull the cap off, we'll see that it is a very interesting style of nib. And then here's an interesting thing about this pen too, is it posts with this sort of like disappearing post, which is kind of cool. I believe that Kandosh used to make, they were famous for making pencils. So that's why you have this sort of very unique I think that's how you spell it. Wow, look at that color. I don't know what she put in this pen, but man, it's bonkers. That's super cool. Super cool color. Smooth nib. Reasonably priced. Smooth. And very unique. This pen is very unique, right? Like it's different. So it gives you kind of an experience of next level. Your friend probably isn't going to have one. And they come in different colors. So if you don't want something so garish as this light lime green, they have other colors as well. But yeah, super cool. I think this is a, what do they call this? Oh, Swiss made. It says it right on the side. Hang on. This is the 849. That's what this is called. What a fun pen to write with. And then here's another kind of wild and super unique one. This is FaberCastell. Now we think, for those of us that are non-fountain pen people, we might think of FaberCastell as the pencil people or markers or whatever. But they have FaberCastell and they have Graf von FaberCastell, who make very high-end fountain pens. And this is not one of them. This is one of their more entry-level offerings. Again, it's sort of like the Kandosh, where the look of the pen is very unique. Pop cap here, posts like so, super stylish and sleek with a very interesting angled nib there. And so this is, looks like we got a little hard start there. I haven't written with this pen in probably a week. A FaberCastell, I'll put the model up here. I don't remember what it is. Medium. It writes really well, super smooth. Again, the nib gives away its cost by the stiffness, so it's not a very flexy nib at all. You know, it's not like you're going to have a bunch of line variation and flex. I guess you could get a little, but not really. It's super stiff. But man, is it cool, and it's a pretty pen too, in a very kind of simple sort of way. Super fun. I really like this thing, actually. I've had this inked up since we got it, and it's been on my desk. I've been using it for various things, not every day. Obviously, I said I hadn't written with it in about a week because I got a bunch of other stuff going, but I really, really do like this pen a lot. And I like how stylish it is, simplistic it is. It's just got kind of its own look. It's pretty cool. So I know that's just a pile of pens on the table, and I know we went through them super quickly, and it wasn't necessarily a review on every one, but I just wanted to show you a couple. The reason I did this was a few things. One is these 3 pens, and maybe this one, are pens that we think of normally when we think of quote-unquote affordable pens. But I think there's so much other neat stuff out there, and these brands, FaberCastell, Kandosh, Parker, and the Verde stuff, and this Narwhal, and this SCHAER, really level up the reasonably priced fountain pen zone. Get you out of plastic pens, get you out of into something super kind of nice, that really give you the nice pen feel without spending a bunch of money. And so I just wanted to share some of them with you. Super cool. We'll leave links to them in the description. If you use those links, it helps out the channel. You don't have to use them, but I just wanted to share those with you. Thanks for hanging out. And let me know if you have any of these, and let me know if there's anything that you want me to dive in more deeply to when it comes to this stuff. And maybe we'll do that in an upcoming video. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you in the next one.